All right, let's dive right in. Welcome to This Explainer, where we're going to unpack a silent biological chain reaction that, well, it might actually be happening inside your head right this very second. We all do it, right? We pop in our earphones, crank up our favorite playlist, or dial into a meeting without even giving it a second thought. But as our source material reveals, the reality is honestly pretty shocking. The exact moment you hit play, you're kicking off a process that permanently damages the tiny hair cells in your inner ear that are literally responsible for your ability to hear. So today we're going to explore exactly how this happens, why it absolutely matters, and most importantly, how we can stop it. So here is a quick look at our roadmap for This Explainer. First, the hidden earphone danger. Then we'll go inside the ear's biology, look at why the 60-60 rule is kind of impractical, figure out how to choose safer audio devices, and finally, get to the truth about aging ears. We're moving straight from complex microscopic biology to highly practical, everyday solutions. Let's get to it. Section 1, the hidden earphone danger. Okay, the most absolutely crucial thing to grasp right out of the gate here boils down to one terrifying word: irreversible. The source makes it emphatically clear that there is currently no cure in any hospital anywhere in the world for damaged ear hair cells. None. Once they are gone for good. You simply cannot reverse this damage. Now, I know what a lot of you are probably thinking. Hey, I've listened to loud music for years. Why haven't I gone deaf yet? It's a super common misconception that a lack of immediate deafness means zero damage is happening. But the breakdown of your hearing is actually a gradual, cumulative process. You aren't just going deaf overnight, but you are slowly chipping away at your hearing capacity with every single loud song you play. Section 2. Inside the ear's biology. To truly understand why this cumulative damage happens, we've got to trace the biological journey of sound. It starts on the outside of your ear, at the pinna, and travels down the ear canal until it hits the eardrum. Now, the eardrum is this incredibly thin, concave membrane with a really rich blood supply. When sound waves hit it, it vibrates. This vibration then moves 3 tiny bones. The final bone in this little chain is called the stapes, and it connects directly to the inner ear structure, which is known as the cochlea. Now, imagine 2 people. One is sitting on a chair, kicking their legs in the air, and the other is kicking their legs underwater in a completely full tank. Who has to use more force to kick at the exact same speed? Obviously the person in the water, right? Because fluid is just way denser than air. Well, your cochlea is completely filled with fluid. Sound waves travel super easily through the empty air in your ear canal, but hitting that fluid-filled cochlea, that requires a massive amount of physical force to actually move anything inside. So how does your body solve this crazy physics problem? Well, to overcome that dense fluid in the cochlea, those tiny ear bones actually amplify the sound waves coming from your ear canal by 20 times. 20 times! Because the connecting area of the stapes to the cochlea is so incredibly small, this 20 times amplification turns a totally normal, harmless sound wave into a seriously powerful biological impact. And that brings us to the ultimate victims of this impact: your stereocilia. These are the tiny hair cells inside the cochlea that actually process sound. When you blast loud music, the sheer force of those 20 times amplified waves causes these vital hair cells to violently bend. And if you keep listening for long durations, these cells literally swell up and become permanently deformed. Remember that terrifying word from earlier? Irreversible? Yep. Once they deform, there is zero medical cure. Section 3. The impractical 60-60 rule. This brings us to the behavioral side of things. Like, how do we actually stop the swelling and bending? Well, the medical standard for keeping those hair cells safe is known as the 60-60 rule. This basically means you should listen to your audio at a maximum of 60% volume for absolutely no more than 60 minutes at a time. And if you follow this rigidly, doctors say your ears will remain completely safe. But let's be real for a second. Is this actually practical for modern life? The source material introduces us to this proxy character, a student named Ravi. Now, Ravi goes to the doctor because he literally has 8-hour days of back-to-back online classes. Or think about professional video editors, or people working super long corporate shifts. Limiting earphone use to just 60 minutes a day is just completely impossible for them. So the rule, while medically totally sound, kind of fails in the real world. Section 4. Choosing safer audio devices.
Since most of us can't just quit our studies or our day jobs, doctors do provide some practical, real-world solutions based on the actual hardware we use. And the golden rule of ear safety here is the distance between the sound source and your eardrum. Think about earbuds for a second. They are essentially tiny speakers forced directly into your ear canal, placing the sound source dangerously close to the eardrum. They are absolutely the worst option. Over-ear headphones sit a bit farther away, making them a much better choice. Noise-canceling headphones are great because they naturally encourage you to use lower volumes. But the absolute best option? Room speakers. They put the maximum possible distance between the audio and your eardrums.
Now, if you really have to use headphones, noise-canceling ones are highly, highly recommended by doctors. And the reason why actually relies on this fascinating physics concept called destructive interference. High-quality noise-canceling headphones have built-in microphones, right? So when a loud background noise, like, say, traffic from a busy road, hits that microphone, the headphone instantly generates an exact opposite sound wave. It matches the peaks of the outside noise with valleys of its own, effectively neutralizing the sound. Because the background noise is destroyed, you can comfortably listen to your lectures or your music at a much lower and much safer volume.
But beyond just the volume, there is another massive risk to having devices jammed in your ears all day long. Are you ready for this? There are a staggering 10 lakh, that is 1 million, annual cases in India of a severe infection called otitis externa. When you wear earphones for hours on end, your ear canal becomes blocked and completely dry. Your natural earwax, which is actually meant to trap harmful outside bacteria, just can't do its job anymore. So the bacteria breeds, leading to painful swelling, redness, and really severe infections of the outer ear. Letting your ears breathe isn't just some luxury. It is a biological necessity.
Section 5. The truth about aging ears. A lot of people think deep wrinkles are just, a totally normal part of getting older. But dermatologists will actually tell you that severe wrinkles are largely the result of UV damage from solar radiation over a long period of time. Well, the doctor in our source material points out that hearing loss is exactly the same. When we see older people losing their hearing, we just assume it's natural aging, but it's not. Early hearing loss is primarily noise-induced damage that is just disguised as aging.
And here is the chilling biological fact to back that up. Unlike other body parts, damaged hair cells cannot automatically renew themselves. If you scrape your skin, stem cells regenerate it. It heals. But your inner ear? It completely lacks these regenerating stem cells. Because of the way modern generations are using earphones, doctors are actively warning that by the time today's youth reach age 45 to 50, they will have the degraded hearing capacity that we currently associate with our grandparents. You are quite literally accelerating the aging of your ears every single day you listen irresponsibly. So what's the actionable takeaway here if you absolutely must use headphones for long hours? Well, the doctor gave Ravi this really simple, non-negotiable schedule. If you use headphones for 30 minutes, you must take a 5-minute break. If you push it to 60 minutes, you owe your ears a 10-minute break. Take them off, let the ear canal breathe, and let those stereocilia recover from the massive barrage of amplified sound waves. We have covered a whole lot of ground today, from the fluid dynamics of the cochlea all the way to the physics of noise cancellation. But I want to leave you with this final, really provocative thought. The very next time you grab your earphones and crank up the volume to drown out the world, ask yourself, what will your hearing actually be like at age 45? The choice you make with the very next song you play has permanent consequences. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, remember to give